you're feeling today though. What's like the one word emotion?
Right now, I am feeling absolute gratitude and really excited to share my story with the world.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. We are now officially live, so this is great. And first of all, welcome Lisa Marie to the Inspired Impact TV show. I am absolutely delighted to have you here today. I've been remembering a lot, like my first, soul inception, like with a lot of my authors right now, because it's like when we meet and our paths cross, everything changes forever. And I don't always go back to that like inception point in time, because we just like hit the road running, right? Like we're like, all right, boom, let's go. And it's just so interesting to reflect back and say, oh, wow. I remember, I feel like we talked on a weekend. I almost want to say it was like either a weekend or it was like late at night or something. Whatever it was like, I normally don't do calls during that time. And I remember
Yes, exactly.
right? I was like on my couch and I was like, I don't know. I just get a feeling I need to connect with her. Like, I just have a feeling like I'm going to want to be in this person's life. Right. And I want her to be in mine. And so I took the call and you were like, this title, Women Who Empower, you're like, I need to connect with you about this. I need to connect with you about my story. And I was like, tell me everything. Like, I was obsessed with your energy. I was obsessed with your story. I was obsessed with how intelligent you were, how you were so beautifully articulating all of what you wanted to bring and serve people with. I was like blown away. So this is my friend Lisa Marie, everyone, who I am introducing right now. And she is a powerhouse. Before we got on the live, she's telling me all these brand new things she's up to and creating in the world. I'm not giving anything away, but I'm just saying she just doesn't stop. It's so fun to be in your swirl, Lisa Marie, because you're a bright, shining light of possibility, of hope, of all things magic and inspiration. And I know you're going to bring some of that to us today. So welcome, first of all, to this live interview. And would you begin by sharing with our audience what inspired you to want to reach out to me that day that I described?
Yes, Kate, thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me here today. This is incredible and the opportunity is amazing. So as you're telling the story of that night, my whole inner being is feeling the moment that I spoke to you for the first time, because at that moment, so one of our co-authors, Heather Boyes, said to me, you need to be in this book that I'm writing my chapter for, Women Who Empower. And I think there's like one chapter spot left, but you need to check with Kate Butler. So I had emailed you to like the wrong email address. And I'm like, I didn't hear back. I don't know. Maybe it's not, for me. And she's like, no, you need to email her again. So I was in the middle of finishing my certification for my coaching practicum. We're in the middle of a pandemic. And I was also finishing my second book, my manuscript for Unstuck. Yeah. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't have time to write another story. So we got in touch. I contacted you. I had a whole conversation and you're like, no, this needs to be in this book. And I thought to myself, holy moly. And you said, but here's the thing, you have 2 weeks to write your chapter. Yeah, and I immediately was just like, okay, the inner being was saying, yes, you're finishing your book Unstuck. That's the story you want to get out. However, this story, my chapter, first off, it's titled 28 Suitcases, and it is a bridge between my first book that was published last year, my next book that's waiting for a publishing home. And I thought, oh my gosh, there is something here. I need to get this chapter done. Yes, I have 2 weeks. However, hope is all over my story. And I have to share that my co-author, Heather Boyes, just the other night shared with me. And she said, Lisa Marie, hope equals possibility. And I thought, no, hope is faith. Hope is love. Hope is faith and love. And I thought, no, it's possibility. Because when I thought about the message that needed to get out and needed to be out immediately into the world and not wait for, a big boy publishing house to pick up my next story, I needed this message to be out now.
Yeah.
And with the hope and the possibility, knowing that everything is possible, because in my story, 28 suitcases, we took a grand leap of faith, a family of 5. Those who know me, those who have followed my story, were expats. I lived abroad for 12 years. We recently had moved back to the United States, and we were on our way back again to Switzerland. But this time, not everything was in place. It
Mm,
wasn't my husband works for an international bank, and this is what the story is about. And not everything was in place. And it just wasn't my husband and I and a little baby. It was now a family of 5.
wow.
And we sloughed our bags from hotel to hotel before we were in our permanent housing, and things were not going well at all. And I needed to know that hope equal possibility. And the possibilities that came out of us moving abroad and what we thought we were going for was a job was not. My mother-in-law was passing away in Germany, and we were able to go and be there with her. And the story just unfolded in such a way that when I thought we were going for one thing, the universe stepped in
Yes.
and said, no, you're really here for this.
That's
And we
exactly.
were there to be able to be present for her passing. And if it wasn't for me digging deep into that hope and having the faith, it just, what it offered our family is priceless. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So how do you, first of all, what do you feel like your, um, what tangible things, let me ask it in this way, because I know you just spoke about obviously possibility and hope being something that can be a takeaway, but I'm trying to dig deeper than that
Mm-hmm.
because you have so much to offer. And I really want to showcase a little bit of that to the audience, right? To really show them all of the brilliance that you have within you. And so when I am, connected with Lisa Marie, reading your chapter, when I am being coached by you, what can you begin to share with me, or some steps that I can take, or some tangible takeaways that might get me on the path to possibility or hope?
So I would say really tapping into that inner being and that inner guidance and listening to yourself and not shutting it out. A lot of us, which I have learned working with my clients during the pandemic, had have great difficulty sitting in their own stillness because they run from their own truth. Another big takeaway on my chapter is accepting your truth and living within your own truth. But often we don't even understand what it means to live in our own truth. It's an acceptance. And we tend to really make ourselves busy, 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 busy because we don't really want to face the truth and the unknown. But when we have a minute to sit in our stillness and accept our own truth, that's when we're truly set free. And you'll find that in the story and in the chapter. So the truth will set you free. It's a huge thing that at one time in our life or another, we need to face. And as scary as it is, as a certified coach, teaching boundary coaching, I help others and guide others and give them the tools to be able to sit in their stillness and face their own truth. And yeah, there's actually a short in this book. Can I read just my quote that we shared during our marketing? So this is really going to sum it up for a lot of women. And I'm going to read our quote that we were using in our marketing. There in that line, waiting for benefits, I thought I'd hit my low in terms of stuckness. And now in the hotel lobby, I'd hit it again. But a funny thing happens when women hit their low, especially when their children are involved. We dig deep into our depths and find some wild, unknown strength, and then we become something we could never have imagined. Something that's beyond the perfect, always on it, never rattled ideal that many of us aspire to be. Something stronger and more powerful and more deeply feminine than that. I knelt into my faith and followed my inner guidance, and somehow I just knew it was going to be okay. We were going to be okay.
Well, that's just, first of all, wow, wow, wow. I love your story. You know that. And what you just read there, in my opinion, just like perfectly illustrates what you and sums up what you just shared with us prior to, which is basically that you're finding that moment of stillness and of peace. Like that's what you just read to us, right? It was like even in all of the chaos and all of the turmoil and seemingly this, very unpredictable circumstance that I find myself in and not clear as to what is going to come next. Now I'm still finding a way to be still and find peace in this situation, which is your trust of hope. You finding that peace in that moment is your trust of possibility. Finding that peace in that moment is your trust in your inner guides, which is what you are saying that you're guiding people to in your coaching, right? It's all of those things that you just brought it together with us in the words that you just read, which is beautiful. So my question is also about, because I want people to get to know you also a little bit more, right? Because you're just such a cool person. So this is not your first book, right? So tell me something that surprised you about this author journey, right? Because perhaps there's no way if you've written a book before or in the middle of writing a book, right, that you don't have some preconceived notions about what you're walking into, right? Because you've done it, some of it or all of it or whatever, and you just kind of have some idea of what's in your mind. So talk to me a little bit about what was your author journey like, and was there anything that surprised you about it?
Absolutely. The collaboration of your incredible team. Writing is a very lonely sport. Can we call it a sport? Right. Writing is a very lonely sport. Okay. Some describe me as an extrovert, but it's a very introverted. You are alone. You are literally alone. And if you're a fiction writer, great. You've got a whole cast of characters and you have your people. I write nonfiction. I write memoir. I write transformational self-help books. So it's a very lonely experience. And oh my gosh, teaming up with Kate Butler Books, meeting Kate and her team and having 29 other empowering women just to lean on, just to sign on our own Facebook group and collaborate on the writing, the journey. It's just, I never even imagined, I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know what I was missing. And I could just cry thinking about it because I never imagined when I took that last spot that that's what I was going to get. And that's what I needed. So I always say the universe knows what you need before you do. And you showed up. You got off your couch and made that phone call. Something was in you saying, I need to talk to this woman that don't even know. It's off hours. It was late at night. I'm a late night person, so it was great. But for you, you're with your family. It's not your time. And you reached out to me. And honestly, anyone who we all have a story within ourselves. Don't do it alone. You don't need to. You don't need to. Find Kate. I'm not here to sell your thing, but it's coming out right now. But honestly, I would say that the journey and the collaboration of 29 other women was the most incredible experience I could have ever asked for.
And I bring this back to your work, Lisa Marie, because it's like, you're a boundaries coach, right? And what you're saying is the biggest piece for you in all of this. And I didn't know what you were going to say. We've never talked about that before, but like, it's like, you're saying that it was like the connection and the support, right? Like, so this is interesting to me now, right? Because it's like within those connections and relationships, we also have to be very conscious and aware of boundaries and how do we navigate through life and our goals and our relationships, but still have those healthy boundaries up. So what I want to know from you is like, tell me a little bit more about your coaching. Like, who am I? What am I experiencing when I am someone who should reach out to you, right? Like, so someone who is experiencing this is your person that you really want to connect with for your boundary coaching.
So first off, a boundary is between you and you. And we often think about, and we often think boundaries are, we're setting a boundary with somebody else. So the boundary is between you and you. And anyone that feels stuck, anyone that's looking for a shift in their life, anyone that is in need of, I am just utterly don't know what to do with my life next. I'm in a career position where I lost my job during the pandemic. I'm in the middle of a divorce. This was thrown at me, just relationships, boundaries are so, so important, but it's always between you and you. And I would say that anybody that is just looking to be inspired, supported, I'm here to hold the space for you. I hold the space and guide you and give you the tools. I'm a certified Levin life coach. I'm trained under Nancy Levin, and her book, Setting Boundaries Will Set You Free, is what we work with in that program. And I spent a year in the program, and it was another most powerful, very powerful for me. And I'm here to support my clients. I recognize that we all sit in our stuckness, and we all deserve to be free.
I love that. It's amazing. And I think the work is fascinating because you're right. It does start within ourselves. You jumped right into it in the beginning of our talk together today, where you said, people have, a problem, like, right, sitting with their stillness, right. And all of that. And that goes back to the boundary between you and you, right. Like where it all really begins. So I love that you are someone, Lisa Marie, who can help guide people through that, because it really is such transformational work when you can have someone guiding you through an effective process of how you can really maximize your life, because we're not living life to our fullest. What my belief is, when we are stuck. I'll use your word. That's the perfect word. When we're stuck in ways, when we're stuck in old beliefs, when we're stuck in not giving ourselves the opportunity to even see that hope, right? It's never too late. It is all possible. I have seen it all. Like, I haven't seen it all yet, but I've seen a lot, you know what I mean? And I have seen people that you would never guess. I've seen people of every age. I have seen people come out of the darkest. I mean, there is no excuse, put it that way. Like if I ever think that there's an excuse for me not to do something, I just pick up this stack of books right here, which is our whole series, right? And I'm like, nope, there is no excuse. There's always a way. But your work is what allows me to begin to see the way. And that's why it's so important, because you're the beginning point. You're where to start.
It is. And it's when we're sitting in our own darkness, Kate, it is very difficult to come to anyone and say, hey, I'm here to help you. I mean, it is when you're in your own darkness and you can't see a way out, you need to have the support. You need, I came to write this chapter and I didn't even know that I needed the group of support that your program offers. And I have some keywords that I use on my website, and, that you can go and take a little quiz and just reach out to me, and I can help guide you and see if the boundary coaching is for you. Or when my next book comes out, I'm going to offer an 8-week program on how to get yourself unstuck, because I perfected the art of unsticking over and over again. I
love that. And I'm ready.
I'm the master unsticker.
I am ready for that 8-week course. I love it. I want to know everything about it. I hope it comes out sooner rather than later, because it's really necessary right now.
Thank you.
So is your next book, and so is your chapter here in Women Who Empower. It's just it's all really timely, Yes.
I got my copy. It feels so beautiful as well. It's so exciting.
It feels so good.
And it feels so good. And it was just so important to get this story out. And again, the universe, it came in, it swerved right into me when I didn't even know. I mean, it was not what I was doing, and it just showed up, and here we are. And I cannot be more grateful and more thankful for you and everything you offer to all the women. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And that's the beauty of it, right? Like, especially if we're even just a smidgen open, we don't have to be all the way there even.
Right. No, not at all.
the universe can find its way to sprinkle its magic, and whatever that means for you, it's different for everybody, right? But it can find its way to sprinkle that magic in your life and just open up these beautiful waves of possibility, which is all that you're bringing to us today, Lisa Marie. Thank you so much. So where do we find you? How do we connect with you? Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. You can find me on my website at lisamarierunfola.com. I'm also big on Instagram. So I have an author Lisa Marie Runfola Facebook page and an author Lisa Marie Runfola Instagram. And so feel free to reach out. You can PM me, DM me, whatever. I'm always available to answer if I don't cross my own boundaries. I'm always available to help and guide you. But find me on my website or find me through Instagram. Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it. That's so perfect. That's so perfect. And feel free, I'll invite you, Lisa, to drop your links below also, so that everybody can just one click find you and all of that fun stuff, because I think it's going to be really important to make that connection, and knowing that you are available to really here to help serve, and you're sharing your story really to help as many people as possible through identifying their own boundaries and really just getting unstuck in their own life so that they can truly live the life that they were meant for. So thank you for the work that you do in the world. It's extremely important. And thank you for being a part of this book. You brought a new flavor. I absolutely have loved our journey together. I know it's just the beginning, and I'm so excited for all the things that are coming your way. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.